Q&A. We're John and Ari, and we just came back from our 26th Punta Cana resort stay, and we're here for 1 hour to answer all your Punta Cana questions.
Yes. The first question we have is from Mrs. Rajful. Have you ever thought of doing reviews on the extra experiences that the hotels offer, like excursions, boat or bike rides, etc.?
I would say yes, but as you know, our first goal is to stay in every Punta Cana resort, and there are a lot of them. So we're taking it one step at a time. There are a lot of interesting and cool excursions in Punta Cana, but I think we're going to stick with the resorts for now, but things can change. I'm going to move this table just a little bit back so we don't move the camera. There you go.
All right. Yes.
Second question.
Okay, second question we have is from Martin Lachance. Do you tip in US money?
You want to take that one?
Yes, definitely tip in US money. It's easier. We actually have a guide on how much to tip in every situation when you are staying in an all-inclusive. So you can search that in our channel, and that's a very helpful guide that we have compiled from all the times we've been to Punta Cana resorts. We have actually asked people that work at the hotels so to make sure we get the right information. So, but yes, definitely US money.
You can tip in pesos, absolutely. But for instance, if you tip $1, for some reason, it seems to be like more money if it's $1 as opposed to 50 pesos, which is around the conversion rate. And it's the same amount, but for some reason, it looks like you're tipping a bit more if it's in US dollars. You could tip in euros, but not more than that, because when you go to the exchange houses here in DR, they'll only exchange euros or dollars, no Canadian dollars and no other currencies. It would be basically useless to the workers, to the staff of the hotel. So US, pesos, or euros at the most.
Yes. Our third question is from Francisco 5336. This is about Grand Bavaro Princess. Is there night entertainment provided by the hotel? No disco or dancing club?
Well, they have, no, they don't have a disco. When we went there,
Yes.
they had a theater for the night show, and then they played live music after the night show where you could dance in the terrace outdoors, and that lasted for about an hour, I think, maybe two at the most.
Yeah, we left before it ended.
Yeah, my parents amazingly stayed later than us that night dancing, but there is no disco. So after the night show, you can head over to the outdoor terrace. I'm not sure if they do that every day. So basically, when you're there, just keep an eye out for the schedule for that day, and you'll find out. But there's no disco, no nightclub, just night show and dancing in the terrace afterwards.
Yeah, I remember reading on the map that it said the disco was here, and
right.
we went outside, and we actually got outside the resort to find the disco, and that's when we realized it wasn't an in-house disco. It was a disco from outside. It seems to be very safe. They actually provide transportation from the hotel, from the lobby to the disco. It's just about 200 meters.
The disco is nearby, but it's not the property of the hotel. It has another owner, I believe. The drinks are not included. You can go in for free, and they provide transportation, as John said, but you don't have the drinks included, and you do have to go off property to do so. You can walk. It's safe. It's not a pretty area where the hotel is located.
It's quite ugly.
So we didn't go to the disco, actually.
Yeah, and I will make a recommendation to the resort to not advertise as they have an in-house disco.
Sure.
Because you can make your decision based on that information, and then you get to the hotel and the disco is not inside. You have to go out, and usually in resorts, this is something important. Usually discos at resorts have drinks included, all you can drink, and those discos don't have the drinks included. And if you go to that disco thinking, okay, I have open bar, you get there and you have to pay for each drink you drink, I guess. Yeah, that's not gonna be good. So the next question, well, the next question we have is from Maria Arias 6929. When is the seaweed season? You are an expert in this subject, so go ahead.
Well, actually, your memory is better than mine, but we were just at the Rio Palace Macau, which is in Arena Gorda, one of the beach areas in Punta Cana, and there was already seaweed. So, and we're in May 2024. So, from the middle of May onwards until the end of September, first days of November, you will find seaweed. The peak being in the summer, so August would be the highest month regarding seaweed. On the hotel we were in, the first day in the afternoon, there was a lot of seaweed. But the following morning, the beach was beautiful. So they did a great job of picking up the seaweed that arrived the next day. And the seaweed seems to come more in the afternoon in waves. So after 3, 4 p.m., you will see more seaweed coming into the beach area and it accumulates in the sand. And then it's up to the hotels to pick it up from the sand. So they renew it for the next day. During peak season, it's a mammoth of a job to pick up tons and tons and tons of seaweed, literally tons of seaweed coming to the Caribbean beaches. So it's up to the hotels, but during the peak months, it's quite a bit of work. And that's your answer basically from the middle of May until the first days of November, I would say,
Yes.
with a peak being in August.
Yeah, now it's the season is longer because I remember before it was like from July until the middle of September, but now it goes all the way to November. Um, I will say seaweed. I don't like Punta Cana in seaweed season, not because of the seaweed exactly, but the weather is so unpredictable and it's so hot. You can't even. I mean, the pool is hot. It's like a hot tub, and I don't like. I don't enjoy Punta Cana in seaweed
I like it
season.
every time of year because basically, if you take out those months, you're left with like half a
Yeah.
year. So
Well,
it's tricky. If you
that
can
is
come in
true.
the summer only, then come in the summer. Know that you're gonna encounter seaweed most likely, and that's it
Yeah,
basically.
that's true.
We do have
So
some
yeah,
comments in
we
the live
have
chat.
comments from Luis Tondino. Good morning. Planning to go to Lopesan when you go. I guess he tried to.
When UGI, I say, well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
when you
we
go.
love Lopesan. The last we've been there 2 times already, and both times we've loved it. I believe last time was last year, maybe.
Yeah, no, it wasn't last year. It was 2022. We
Okay.
went on in 2022 again. We really had a great time. And the food was great. The first time we went to Lopesan, it was during the pandemic
Yeah, pretty
and
much everything was
it
closed.
was empty.
But even then, we had a great time. We loved
Yes.
the architecture. The room is beautiful. The food is good. The staff is great. And the second time we were there, everything was open, and we had even a better time. So we love Lopesan,
Yeah,
basically.
I will come back to
Yeah, it's one of
Lopesan
the most unique resorts in Punta
whenever.
Cana.
Well, would you actually have a theory about Lopesan stepping up their game of the resorts
Yeah,
in
I was
Punta
thinking
Cana?
about that in this last resort we went to. That when we went to Lopesan, it was so much different than other resorts we've had visited in Punta Cana. And now thinking back, so other resorts that are new are like in that category of great architecture, nice buildings, nice rooms,
Decoration.
yeah. And older resorts are renovating because we read many comments about, oh, I went to this hotel chain, this hotel in Cancun, for example. It was so much better than the one in Punta Cana.
Yeah.
And I agreed. I haven't been to Cancun, but I had been to those resorts in Punta Cana, and they were like quite old, dated, run down, and now they're renovating a number of properties. I think they're like bringing Punta Cana up to where the fame is. I mean, we receive millions of tourists each year,
Yeah.
so there was really no excuse
And
to
it's
have.
not cheap. I mean,
No, 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 no.
if you can stay for the same price or even lower in Jamaica or Cancun, and the resort, the structure is better, then you rather go there than come to Punta
Yeah,
Cana.
so I see now they're stepping up their game regarding the properties. When they're renovating them, they're coming out pretty good.
Yeah. Also, A. Avellini says, "Good morning, ¿cómo están? Looking forward to this live."
Thank you.
Good morning.
We're
Thank you
gonna
for
be
being here.
for 1 hour answering all your questions. So let's keep going.
Yeah. The next question I have is Carolina Shu.
Carolina. Just say
Carolina. Any recommendation of resorts? I will say check our rankings. We just posted a few weeks ago a top 10 of all the resorts we've been to. Check that ranking, and you'll probably see our top 10 choices for resorts. And usually, good resorts are more expensive, but you can find some that are budget too. And soon we're going to be posting our top of all the adults only resorts that we've been to so far, and that's gonna be fun too.
Yeah, so check out that video of our top 10 that we had visited up to that point in the when we made that video. You can also go to our website nittygrittytravelers.com and go to the resorts ranking section. Then there we have all the resorts we've been to ranked with our points system, and we do have an idea because we do have an Excel sheet of all the resorts and all the categories and the points we give in each category. We're thinking of like publishing, like giving access to that Excel sheet where you can rank each hotel and organize the list based on each category. For example,
Yeah,
which
that-
have the best food, which have the best service, and so on. Many are tied in many categories, but because not everyone seeks the same things. I don't know
Yeah.
if you get what I mean.
I think it's a great idea because that way people can filter and organize by what's important to them. If they're very interested in spending most of the time inside the room, then the room is very important.
Exactly. For us, for instance,
Yeah.
I put a lot of importance in the room,
Yes.
but we did a poll in the channel, and you guys don't as much as we do. So we took your preferences into account rather than ours. We do have like 5 extra points each to allot to
Yes.
each hotel, and that's our input. But we based our categories and our points system on what you guys told us was more important, which was value for money, but
Amenities too.
amenities and so on. So if you can organize by category to your taste, I believe that's a great addition. That's a great
Yeah,
tool to
I
have.
think it's a great tool. We have Luis Tondino says now it changed a bit reading the comments. Yeah, but it's okay. I think we understood what you were trying to say.
No, I think about the LOPESAN, we have read
Ah.
comments on the channel saying that, yeah, the comments, the reviews on TripAdvisor are like the quality has lowered. We wouldn't know because we haven't been lately. If you filter by bad reviews, you can see the ratio. I mean, if there are more 5 stars and 1 stars and so on, I would go by that. Also read the bad reviews. Some people complain about things you don't care about. Others are, yeah, I got sick. I got, I wouldn't call it food poisoning. I mean, you got sick of the stomach on that trip. That doesn't mean another person.
That the
we have
food
been
was bad.
to 26 resorts and we haven't gotten ill. Now,
Yes.
we're Dominican. I always tell when you travel, you're exposed to bacteria in
That
the water,
your
in the
body
food,
is not used to,
or
you don't have-
viruses in the air that your body is not accustomed to. So if I travel to the US, actually, I did get sick on an Amtrak train recently. I'm not blaming it on Amtrak. I mean, I know it was more than likely that I got sick, so I spent a bad day of the 14 days I was there. But it's not, I mean, I know when you travel, you get exposed to different kinds of.
Totally, yes. In addition to checking the bad reviews, Coolest just stayed there a few months ago. You can check his review as well because he made a great video about the LOPESAN. He really loved it. So check that video too and take it in consideration. Your brother went to Lopesan about
Yeah,
six
earlier
months
than Chris.
ago. 6 months ago, and he loved it. It was his third time, I believe, and he usually goes with his family, so he had a great time. I don't know.
Especially when you compare it to other
Oh
resorts. I
yes,
mean,
for the price,
yeah, all
definitely.
that and people. Some people say we are paid by Lopesan even, but we love Lopesan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we talk it up so much because it's a really great resort. It was both times we were there. So the latest reviews we wouldn't know what to say because we can't comment on one we haven't experienced. So
Yeah,
that's our advice. Yes.
that's true. Also, Guillermo Bonilla asked, "Hi, you two. I have a question. What kind of travel insurance do you recommend?"
Well,
Well,
I would recommend first of all, if you can have, if you're coming in the summer during hurricane season, buy one that includes like refund for. I know they have insurances if it rains X amount of days that you can't basically do anything, you get a refund. Or if your flight gets canceled because there's bad weather here in the country, like you get a refund for the flights and the hotel if you can't come. I would get one of those. Health insurance wise, if you can find out which clinics you can use that insurance on in Punta Cana, that would be great. We recommend including one that they accept at Hospiten, if you
yeah,
can write it down
hospital.
on
Yeah,
the chat, because that's the best private clinic in the area. There are some bad ones that I'll not mention because there is not a first-hand experience, and I don't want to get sued based on other people's opinion. But
yeah.
if you can get it accepted at Hospiten, we don't know which
Yeah,
ones offer that,
you
but
can call or send them a message because I'm not sure. I do know that worldwide insurance, eh, which is one that it's all around the world, they're accepted at Hospital. They probably accept
I don't know if they
most
have travel
travel
insurances.
insurances,
Yeah.
but I will check with them because that's the only hospital private hospital we recommend in
Yeah.
the area, to be honest. And avoid going to the doctor's office in the resorts because they're going to charge you
Unless you
with
have to, right?
hundreds of dollars. Yeah, unless you have a true medical emergency. But if you have something that can be dealt with in the hospital, then just take a cab and go to the hospital, to hospital, and they'll treat you well. And we trust that hospital. That's the only one in the area right now that we trust. Um, there's also, what are your from this is from Chosho. What are your favorite white beaches at adults only resorts or adults only section in the Dominican Republic? We went to Majestic Colonial adults only site last December and it was incredible. But the beach at Majestic Colonial was not so wide. Okay, when you ask about wide, I guess it's the stretch of the beach of that
Yeah,
resort.
or the sun area
Yeah,
maybe.
and well, I don't know. For example, I like the one at Barcelona, Bavaro Beach.
Well, if we like divide it up into sections, like beach sections, I would say if your hotel is located in Arena Gorda,
Well, Majestic is.
okay, then it's likely a good beach. And when you stay at a resort and the beach right in front of your hotel is not that great, you usually have miles of beach up and
Yeah.
down to either side. Like there's another hotel on your right hand and on your left side, so you can use whatever beach you want. I know the one in
Well,
front is the closest one, but not all the beach spots are going to be perfect. So one hotel is going to have a perfect beach for you, and the next right next door maybe is rocky, and there's nothing they can do about that. And but if you think about beach areas, we like Arena Gorda. We also like
Bávaro Beach.
Bavaro Beach, of course.
El Cortecito, where the Grand Bávaro Princess is located, that part is beautiful.
Yeah, the TRS and
Yeah.
the Palladium also have good beaches. The Hard Rock has a beautiful beach, a
but
bit more
it's
wavy.
not adults only. One resort that has a great beach that we just came back from was the Rio Palace Macau. It's an adults only, and the beach was beautiful, and it was quite. Okay.
We just got a call on the
Yeah.
camera phone, but moving on. Basically, if your hotel is in Uvero Alto, the beach is not going to be that great.
Yeah, I'm going to step out 1 second.
Okay, I'll read the other questions.
Yeah.
What is your rating of Royalton, Bavaro, Punta Cana? I'm going next March. We have a video, a review video of the Royalton Bavaro on the channel. I recommend watching that. Also going to nittygrittytravelers.com, resort rankings, and see where the Royalton Bavaro falls. We can look it up right now for you. Let's see on which order it falls.
Which one?
Royalton Bavaro, Punta Cana.
It's in 16th place.
16 out of
26.
16 out of 26. So you can see on the review based on what we gave her that rating. So go back and watch that video. We had a nice time there. It's not our favorite property especially comparing it to all the other resorts we've been to. So I think that's what we bring to the table, is that we can compare based on the same two standards, all the properties we visit. So it's on 16th place right now.
Yeah, and also Royalton Bavaro, the property itself is beautiful, and it kind of looks like the LOPESAN, the buildings and the gardens. But I remember the room was very worn down, and the food was not great.
Yeah, and those two parts were basically our least favorite
And there
parts of
was
the
a
hotel.
weird smell in the room, and it kept coming back. But in addition to that, the pool was nice. The beach was okay. Even though it was at Arena Gorda, their stretch of beach was not the nicest. So, but yeah, we're going to the Royalton Punta Cana in 2 weeks, and we're going to see how it compares to the Royalton Bavaro. But I remember not loving the Royalton Bavaro. It's not a bad hotel though.
No,
It's not a bad hotel. You can go there, and it depends also on what's important to you. But it's not a bad hotel. I like the lazy river. They have a lazy river, and it was very nice. And they have lots of pools and jacuzzis. Their pool area is very nice and has lots of seating arrangements. And their night show, I remember we didn't like it because it was in the outside theater.
Yeah,
and the
because
acoustics
there was
were bad.
a recent hurricane that had come by Punta Cana, and it messed up their theater. So they did the night show in another area, and the acoustics were not good, basically. But we didn't held that against the hotel. We understood the situation, and basically our least favorite parts were the food and the room. That for us is really important.
Yes, definitely. So Darren says, love the videos, guys. Question, which resort has the best swim out suites?
Well, we don't book the swim out rooms because we usually stay in the cheapest room
Yes.
type, which is not the swim out. But from memory, I think I love the LOPESAN swim outs.
Yes.
I love
the LOPESAN swim outs. I can remember.
the Paradisus.
Oh yes, the Grand Cana.
Yeah,
the
Grand
swim
Cana,
outs
the
at
swim outs are
Paradisus
great.
Grand Cana were great, but something you need to keep in mind when it comes to swim outs is if you want a private pool, then most of the resorts don't have a private pool for the swim out. We love the swim out at Sanctuary Cap
Yes,
Cana.
beautiful.
It was the best, one of the best rooms we've been to, and their swim out is
But
beautiful.
explain a bit further about not having a
Yeah,
private.
but the pool is usually one large pool that goes all the way across the rooms, all the way up to from the beginning to the end of of that building.
Yeah, so you could be sharing a pool
Yes.
with 10 other rooms, and you can have people swim by your
By your
room.
room, so
We
it's
don't mind.
not
but
But
I
it's
know
not very
people,
private.
some people do mind.
So, but I do know that the Excellence resorts have private rooms with private pools, swim out pools.
But for instance, if you're
But we
going
haven't been to
with
Excellence
another
resorts.
couple staying in the next door room, then I think it's a great thing to
Oh
have
yes,
the shared
yeah.
pool.
We love the swim out rooms because that way once usually the pools close at 7 p.m.,
Yeah.
6 or 7 p.m., so they can do their maintenance, and you can stay at your own pool until later in the night and have some drinks and talk and eat, and it's fun. So yeah, I like swim out
And
rooms.
usually people don't like hang out in front of your room. If you see
Yeah,
someone there
that's weird.
swimming by, swimming back and forth, it's not like you have another group staying like put in front of your room. It would be weird, right? They would be in the right. You couldn't tell them to move, but I haven't seen it like ever.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it that would be weird. So Fanetta Hampton says, "Do the staff prefer U.S. dollars or Dominican money for tips?"
We just answered that question at
Yeah.
the beginning of the chat, but basically either
US.
one, but they prefer US. It
US
holds
money.
their value better, and it seems when you tip, it seems to be more money than
Yeah.
if you were to tip in pesos.
I remember
basically.
once or twice we tipped in Dominican money, and we ended up giving more money than we were supposed to.
Yeah, because for some reason psychologically it seems less money when you give it in pesos because we live in pesos and we know it's not a lot of money. But if we leave $1 as opposed to 50 pesos, it seems to be like more.
Yes.
And
So-
it's US dollars. It looks prettier on the table for the staff, so we prefer to tip in US dollars.
Yeah.
And that way we bring singles and tip whatever we
And
need.
they can, if you don't have singles, you can always go to one of the bars or to the
Front desk.
and they'll change it for you. They have lots of singles. So, Luis Tondino asked, "Have you been to Serenade?"
Not yet.
Not yet. It was on our list, and we were actually going to be there, but for some reason the price went up, and we were like, no, we're not paying that much money for this hotel. I mean, we wanted to visit it because it looks beautiful. It's nice. It used to be a very old resort, and they did a complete renovation and it looks beautiful now, and I have read some great reviews about it, but we haven't been to so far.
Yeah, if we can catch it for cheaper, then it's better. And it was cheaper. And when we went to book it, it was way more expensive, and we decided to go
To the Royalton. Yeah. And let's see. Shosho, thank you for answering my first question. Think I watched all of your videos before going on vacation and really enjoy them. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Which resort is it where there was a secret that was open
A
late?
secret pool, I believe. That was in the Palladium.
Palladium, yes.
Well, it's called El Secreto, the secret. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the literal name of the pool.
Yeah,
the
the
secret,
Palladium.
El Secreto in Spanish. And if you go to the TRS Turquesa or any of the Palladium resorts, they all share the same complex. There's a little pool that is open late. But we just returned from the Rio Palace Macau.
Oh, yeah, that was
and
nice.
their main pool is open 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That was the first time, I think.
Yeah, usually they close super early, like at 6 p.m. and in some at 5, and that's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. Like you have to get out of the pool at 5. I get that they need to clean it and do proper maintenance, but I think taking people out at 5 p.m. from a pool, it's ridiculous, basically.
Definitely. I mean, people start getting ready to go to dinner at about 6:30. They usually go to their room, take a shower. So before that, it's too early. It's too early. Let's see. Another question from Luis Tondino. What about Dreams Florida? Have you been? We're actually going to Dreams Florida in 4 weeks. Yeah, in 4 weeks we're staying at the Dreams Florida, and we're very excited too because that was another hotel that they it had a complete makeover, and we're very excited to go to.
Yeah, basically, I would say if you see that a hotel has been renovated, I mean renovated, like got it, and basically they only kept the carcass of the buildings and made them new again, you are in for most likely than not a good experience, at least facility wise, room wise, etc. Usually they also revamp their menu, their staff, their chefs, etc. So they come back strong. And if you see it's been renovated, but sometimes renovated means they've been painted over.
Yes,
And there's not
that's
really
true.
a way to like to know, especially if you're from another country and you'll see recently renovated, because we have booked recently renovated resorts and we get there, what has been renovated?
Well, I remember the Paradisus Grand Cana. We booked. He received an email that this new Punta Cana resort is
brand new.
opening in November, and he booked it right away. So we don't miss our chance to go. And when we
and
got
we were
there,
there the opening day,
it was called. Was
and
it?
there was already people that you could see were there. They had been there for a few days, like on
And
their
that was
bathing
supposed
suits.
to be the date of the
Yeah.
opening day.
I was like, how come there are people wet and they
I
seem
guess
like.
I guess we're not that exclusive that we didn't receive the an email with a
So basically,
earlier
it
date.
was the same hotel. They just changed the name. Like from today, it's called a different name, and basically, it was a new hotel. And it's a bit tricky to know all that. That's why we started the channel, because if they change the name, then the TripAdvisor profile, for instance, it's going to be different.
Yes,
Because
and
it's another
those
name,
bad reviews.
and you lose all the bad reviews from before, and it's the same hotel. They just changed maybe owner or marketing strategy or something. And it's the same hotel, but you think it's new and it's not.
That's true. So let's see what we have here. Viva V has rooms with private plunge pools. What's Viva V? Have you heard of that hotel?
No, not really.
I don't.
We'll do some research about it.
Yeah, I don't. Let me see. Viva room. Viva V hotel.
But I think we can do
That's in Samana. Okay, no, that's not Punta
yeah,
Cana.
it's not in Punta Cana, that one. We haven't been to that hotel either in Samana.
Yeah.
Samana is beautiful, by the way. It's another area that it's not Punta Cana. It's more, well, less famous more than anything. So you have more local tourism more than outer tourism. And but yeah,
I love Samana.
we're basically focusing on Punta Cana for the moment, but DR has so many other beautiful areas, landscapes, weather. You have sub-zero temperatures. You have the highest mountains in the Caribbean here. You have secluded beaches, virgin beaches, the beaches in Punta Cana, the all-inclusive model, the tree houses, the bubble glamping. I mean, there's a lot to see in the DR. So whenever you visit Punta Cana, if you ever come back and you want to know more about the country, try maybe staying in another part of the country, driving around. It's very safe, it's very secure, and we highly recommend it.
So next question is from Love International 10. When filling out the etiquette, which province do you put for Punta Cana? That's easy.
The province would be La Altagracia.
Yeah.
If you can write it down in the chat for.
Yeah, let me write it down.
Yeah, the e-ticket needlessly complicates like the address system in the DR.
Even for us locals.
If you live in the US, you're used to having a zip code and everything. Here, some addresses don't even have a number. I mean, we used to live in Punta Cana in a condo that didn't have a number. Like, it was the street name, and then, okay. And you needed to explain, no, you turn here.
Luckily,
left,
it was a very small street.
Yeah.
So there were like 3 complexes in that street, but come on.
Yeah, and on the ticket, they ask you for the province, the municipality, the zip code, and we don't even use it here internally. I don't know why they put it there.
Well, let me see. This is not a question per se. Someone mentioned it in a comment, and we'll like to talk about it a bit. So this person was staying at the Rio República food at the buffets was good, but as soon as the weekend guests showed up, the quality dramatically dropped.
Well,
Yes.
sadly, uh, when he says weekend guests, that means Dominicans, locals.
Yeah.
And we've earned a bad reputation in resorts. I mean we because I'm Dominican, but I don't behave that way in the resorts. Basically, they want to get their money's worth of food, drink, everything. And when
Which is no possible. I mean,
it's
we.
understandable if you're there for a weekend and you pay like $300 and you want to, you're not going to eat like just a sandwich for dinner, right? But if you when you drink a lot, then your behavior changes. You get sloppy. There's a lot of wasted food, and I think the resorts. I don't know if the quality suffers because of that, or they lower the quality or quantities or quality of ingredients because they know there's going to be like a heavy Dominican population. I would say it's not like on weekends. I mean, it's if it's a long weekend. We did a video on our channel. I can remember like avoid this or things to know before coming to Punta Cana. I believe it
Yes,
was
I think it was the
where we
don't do.
touched on that. Yeah, like avoid big Dominican holidays, long weekends, Holy Week, for example, because you're going to get, for instance, today is Mother's Day, the last Sunday of May, and resorts get packed for this weekend.
Yeah, we actually we used to stay at one resort during this weekend every year, and we stopped doing that because it was packed with locals, and I mean we're locals too, but the food is not the same, and the resort is very crowded. The staff of the hotels is very they're in a bad mood. They don't treat you the same way.
Yeah,
They're
because
annoyed.
from one day to the other, it's thousands of more guests,
Yeah, they're
and
overworked, so the resort gets messy.
usually we don't tip here in the DR because hey, it's all inclusive. I don't need to tip. We don't even. I didn't used to even think about tipping in all inclusives. So during this project, that when we went to more and more resorts, we realized how important tipping is. So we began doing it, and we do it in at every resort. But before that, it didn't even cross my mind. So it's basically they're doing more work for basically no tipping, no tips, and that's why it suffers
Yeah,
quality wise.
but we wanted to talk about that. The Darren asked, could you suggest a resort closer to La Romana area so that we can be closer to visit Santo Domingo for an overnight stay? It
Well,
depends.
Punta Cana is quite small. So if you stay in Punta Cana, it really well it kind of matters. If you stay in closer to the airport, that would be basically the Cap Cana area. It will be like a half an hour closer to La Romana than if you stayed in the Bavaro area where most resorts are. If you are in Royalton, which is further away, then you're an hour away, further away from La Romana than if you stayed in one of the hotels close to the airport. And I mean, if you look up the location, if it's 5 minutes away from the airport, then it's close to the airport, 10 minutes away. If it's 28, 30 plus, that's in the Bavaro area.
Yeah, but I think, sorry for interrupting. I think it depends on the type of transportation this person is going to use to go to Santo Domingo. Because, for example, if they have a car and they're driving from La Romana to Santo Domingo, yeah, I think it's closer.
Yeah, but
But
if you can shave off 30 minutes drive time, then it's also valid. If you want to closer to La Romana, basically it's either Santo Domingo, La Romana, and Punta Cana. Well, you could stay in Bayaibe, if you could write that down. It's another beach town that is between La Romana and Punta Cana. But if you stay in Punta Cana, it basically doesn't matter where you stay. If you stay in Bayaibe, then you're not in Punta Cana. There are a couple of good resorts there. We haven't stayed, well, many years ago, I stayed the night in Bayaibe. The beach is beautiful, and it's a beach town, pretty, very, very pretty. And or in La Romana, they do have a couple of good hotels as well. But if you stay in Punta Cana, you're basically 2.5 hours away from
yeah,
Santo Domingo.
well, but in case this person decides to stay at La Romana, the Iberostar It's a very good resort. My family stayed there about a year ago, and they loved their stay. The food was great, the drinks, everything was great. So I would suggest the Iberostar. They don't have a lot of resorts, but the Iberostar I know it's good because they told me, not first experience, but yeah, I will say that. But if you don't have a car and you're taking a bus or a tour to Santo Domingo, I will stay in Punta Cana. They have better resorts, and it's well communicated. I mean, you can take a bus or a tour, and you're going to get to Santo Domingo. The next question we have is from A. Avellini. Have you ever stayed at the Falcon? Is it good for children and families? We were
Yes.
actually talking about that
Yeah,
one.
that's the resort we referred to earlier that it had changed the name and we thought it was new. It was the Falcons Resort, and even now it changed the name again.
To
It reverted
Paradiso Grand
back
Cana.
to the previous name, Grand Paradisus.
Paradisus Grand Cana.
Grand
We
Cana.
have a review and a tour and a room tour and review in our channel.
Yeah, we changed the title because the hotel changed names again. So if you look for Paradisus Grand Cana, that would be the Falcons. So
Yeah, I thought
what you
they
see on
don't.
that review,
They're not
that's
called Falcons anymore. I
no.
thought they even deleted their listings.
Yeah, because it was a collaboration with Kathmandu Park, and Falcons was the parent company of Kathmandu. The hotel was run by Melia when we stayed there, and it's owned and run by Melia now. So that would didn't change, right? So it's basically the same property, just the name is different. They are no longer attached to the Falcon name because they closed Kathmandu Park and they are not doing their joint venture anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
So they reverted back the name. We loved the Paradisus Grand Cana. It was an awesome hotel. The only drawback, if the beach is important to you, it's not beachfront. So you have to take a little train car to go
And
to the beach.
it's 8 minutes in
Driving
the car.
time.
Driving
You
time.
have to
eight
add the
minutes.
waiting times at the stop and all
Yeah,
that.
the resort is beautiful. The food was great. The drinks, amazing.
Yeah, I loved that room.
And the room, oh my God, the room was incredible. It was like a small apartment. It was beautiful.
I think it's one of the best rooms we've stayed in.
Yeah.
The biggest one for sure.
Definitely, we loved it. So the next question we have is trying to plan a Memorial Day Punta Cana vacation. Is May too hot for Punta Cana? Well, it's right now. Right now. This May is very hot.
Yeah, our
it's been-
experience in this past resort, we were there 2 days ago,
Yeah,
and we were there for 3 nights. The first day, the pool was like a hot tub, literally.
it was uncomfortable.
If you went into the pool, like trying to refresh yourself, no, it's hotter. I mean, it's literally hot. The water is a hot tub, like in a sauna, so it's not refreshing. We don't usually go into the beach when we go to the resorts. Being Dominicans, we have access to the beach pretty much the whole year. So when we go to the resorts, we prefer the pools. This time we had to go into the beach, into the water because it was cooler and it was refreshing. Basically, the pool cooled down when it rained the whole second day, and then the pool didn't get the direct sunlight.
And cool down. It was.
Yeah, like
I mean,
room
it was
temperature.
hot. It wasn't. It wasn't burning, but it wasn't boiling. But the first day, oh my God, it was so hot.
Yeah,
It
this
was
year
uncomfortable.
it's pretty hot and it's getting hotter. September would be August and September would be the peak hot months.
Yeah, I can't imagine how
So yeah,
those months
take
are
that
going
into
to be.
account. It's summer in the Caribbean basically, but May, the middle of May onwards, up until the beginning of November. Well, no, even beginning of November, it's going to be hot. But I think I personally prefer a hot weather if I'm going into pools and beaches. I don't want it to be breezy cold, but many people do prefer colder water. So
Yeah, it depends on personal preference. Matthew FT asked, did you do any excursions on your Punta Cana trip? Any tips or suggestions by chance? Should we book online or speak to someone on our resort?
Well, when we go to the resorts, we don't do excursions because we live locally, right? But we have done excursions. We have good friends that have an excursion
Company.
selling company. They do business online. So we do recommend booking online for two reasons, basically. First, well, three reasons. You secure your spot on the excursion in advance. It's cheaper to buy them online. If you wait until you are on the resort, there is usually one company representing many excursions. They, of course, take their cut, which is, it's okay, it's business, right? But they mark up the prices, right? And you only have the options that that company represents. And they may be good tour providers or they may not be good tour providers. And you have to wait until you're there. And when you're in front of someone, you kind of feel the pressure of choosing, making a decision, even buying. And you weren't sure if you were going to buy and you feel the pressure. So if you book online, you can read the reviews. That was the third reason. You can read the reviews of past guests and their experience, watch videos, watch the pictures, and secure your spot before. It's the same. The tour providers are one pool of tour providers in Punta Cana. So either if you book them online or at the resort, it's from the same pool of tour providers. Some are better than others. And the process is the same. They pick you up at the resort, you do the excursions, and they drop you off. Either if you book online or at the resort, the same process. So I prefer booking online.
Definitely, yeah. Booking online is going to be cheaper, and you will be able to select from different tour providers. Even, for example, in Viator, there are the same tour, like 10 options, because there are 10 providers and something like that.
Yeah, you have like buggy tour. So you have 10 providers that do buggy tours. And not all 10 are great and not even that good.
Yes.
And you have to take the reputation of the tour provider into account so you don't get stranded, or they don't pick you up, or they cancel with no reason, problem getting refunds, or the quality of the tour, whatever. We have 13 more minutes in the live, so
Yeah,
let's keep going.
Yeah. Hi, mate. This is from Roman Luke. Hi, mate. Is September, October still okay period of time to visit Punta Cana? Being worried about rainy season. Which month will you suggest to visit Punta Cana? September, October, or November? Thank you in advance.
Well, out of those three options, November, it's better. What you have to keep in mind about Punta Cana is that basically it rains like almost every day, but it's really weird, like, because it can downpour like for 5 minutes and then sunshine. I mean, like, you feel like you're in the middle of a storm all of a sudden, and then sunshine the entire day.
Yeah, and even in places, if you're staying at this resort, maybe it's raining in this part at this one or two resorts, and the other resorts on the right, it's not raining there. So it's so weird.
But basically, in the summer, it's hurricane season. You might not get always get a hurricane, which is more likely than not that you won't get a hurricane. But you can get like a tropical storm or a tropical depression or a tropical wave, which are basically like different classifications of like rainy weather. So if it comes by the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana specifically, then you can get, for instance, we got a rainy day out of the 3 days we were in our past resorts, but it was
A depression, right?
it was a tropical wave, but it was like we knew in advance that that day would be a rainy day. Basically, if you see like on the weather apps, sometimes I see like 2 straight weeks like rain icon, and that's not true. It might rain for a bit at some point during the day, usually at night at night after sunset. But it's not like it's raining the whole day. But it's a higher chance of getting a tropical system that could ruin 1 or 2 days out of your vacation. If you get a hurricane, of course, that's more upsetting, more days of your vacation being ruined prior, during, and after. So summer months are riskier. They're cheaper.
Yeah, because it's the peak of the hurricane season too.
Yeah.
But I will suggest coming in November because the prices are lower. Still, it's still low season, so prices are lower. The weather is nicer. It's not as hot as in the summer, and there won't be seaweed. So
Or less seaweed, let's
or
say.
maybe less seaweed, yes. And I will pick out of those 3 months November. The next question is from Martin J, and he wanted to know this about Barcelo Bavaro Palace. Is there Wi-Fi on the premises?
Well, we don't usually use the Wi-Fi because we get
The local internet.
yeah, the internet on our cell phones, and but
Most
pretty
resorts
much, yeah, most resorts
have their Wi-Fi, but make sure you have a VPN so you can block your connection. You can put it private because there might be. I'm not saying this is
basic security.
yeah, there
Use a
might be some
VPN
bad
on
actors
public
connected to the
networks.
red and to the network. So make sure you have a VPN. That way your connection is secure.
Some resorts have a better signal in the rooms. That's not something we've tested, being that we don't use the Wi-Fi. But you can see in some rooms they do have the Wi-Fi modem or repeater inside each room. So that signal is going to be great. Others don't have it in the room and they only have it at certain spots in the resort. So some areas might not get good Wi-Fi, and the ones that do have it in the room, then it's going to be a great signal.
The next question is from Iceberg Slim. What did you do with your luggage after you checked in while waiting for your room to be ready?
Okay, well, in your case, you're going to be coming from abroad, so you're going to be dropped off by some kind of transportation in the resort, and you just leave it with the staff in the reception area. They tag it and they give you like the piece of paper that says that's your luggage number.
And they put it in a room.
Yeah, and usually it's not even in a room; they're in an open area.
Oh, yeah, some
For me,
resorts.
it's even safer that way. I used to think that, well, that's weird. They leave all the luggage there. But if it's inside a private room, then
Someone might
yeah,
get in
a
and
bad actor within the
start.
staff might get access to your luggage. But if it's out in the open, like literally in the lobby, they have a bunch of luggage of people that are checking out and waiting for transport or checking in. And it's safer that way because it's within eyesight of everybody. So they
Yeah.
basically store it for you there.
It's
and
quite safe.
At 3 p.m., they give you your luggage or take it up to your room if you have the bell service.
This same person asked, can we use US dollars at these establishments? Or do we need to exchange for pesos?
You can pay in US if it's in cash. You cannot pay in US dollars using your credit card.
Yeah, the
Although,
resorts are not able to.
at the last resort,
Which one?
they at the Rio, they did give us the option with a
really?
credit card to pay in US dollars, but there was a markup of 5% of
Oh,
the
God.
price. I was under the impression that it was against the law to charge in US dollars using a credit card, but at that resort we got the option. But basically, every time we've been to a resort, it's always swiped in pesos, even if your card is in US dollars. So your bank is going to be doing the conversion rate. Most of the time, it's not to your advantage, but
We just got a super chat from
oh, thank you, Faneta.
Hampton. Thank you
Really
so much.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
But basically, if you're going to pay with a credit card, doesn't matter, but the bank will do the conversion for you. If you pay in cash, they will take US dollars, no problem.
Yeah, but
The prices are set in dollars, by the way.
I will pay if in the resorts. Yeah, the price is in dollars, so
Yeah,
there's
and if you leave the conversion rate up to them, it would always be to your disadvantage.
yes.
by a
But
lot.
if you go outside the resort, go make sure you exchange
opposite
some
is
some
true.
of the dollars and pay in pesos, because that way you can exchange it at a better rate, so in your advantage. Next question is from Amanda Sudet. Are all the drinks free in the restaurants? Most of them are. If you are in all inclusives, you usually have all the drinks included, and depending of the category and the price of the resort, you might have premium drinks included as well. For example, we just stayed at the Rio and we got international drinks included but not premium like Black Label or Blue Label, or what's the name of this vodka that is very expensive? I don't. Oh God. Grey Goose. Grey Goose was not included either. You need to pay for those extra. But usually in Punta Cana resorts you have international and national drinks included, which is great.
But you're not going to be offered like a drink, and then after you drink it or they serve it, they're going to be, oh, that's $10. No, it's always included. If you ask for something that is not included, they will let you know
Yeah.
beforehand, like it's not included, you need to pay extra. Or on restaurant menus, you can see like when they bring the menu, they also bring the wine card or the wine menu, and those are not included usually. Just the house wine will be included, red or white. But if you buy something from the menu, from the wine menu, then it's extra.
And the restaurants are most of them are included as well. A trend that has something that has become very popular in Punta Cana resorts is that now they have one restaurant that is not included in the fare, and you need to pay for that one. But it's usually a more scale restaurant. They serve some types of meat or some kind of experience. For example, at the Hyatt, they have this restaurant with a theme. So yeah, but most of the restaurants are included as well. A tip when it comes to the drinks is if you want a specific type of alcohol and it's included, always make sure you ask for that one. For example, when I go to the resorts, I like Bombay or Tanqueray. So I always specify that to
specify
the waiter.
the brand name. Like
Yeah.
I'd like a vodka tonic with Absolute, and that they'll pour it down for you. If you don't ask it, they will probably give you a cheaper vodka. So make sure you ask for it.
Yeah, Ashley Peralta, I think, ask if you stay at this hotel, the Rio Palace Punta Cana, do you have access to all other rios on the complex? Yes, you do. You have access to all of them
Well,
except
there are
for the
several Rio Palaces. If you wanna.
Well, if you're staying at
explain.
the Rio Palace Punta Cana, you have some Rio resorts surround in the same proper complex. For example, the Rio Palace Macau, you have access to that one. The Rio Palace Bavaro, which is being fully renovated at the moment, you'll have access to that one too. And the Rio Bamboo. There used to be a Rio Naiboa, now it doesn't exist anymore, but you also have access to that one too. And yes, you have access to all of them except to the Rio República, because that one is not inside the complex. It's 2 or 3 resorts away from that one, from the complex. So yes, you have access to all of that, even the water park, which is inside the complex.
3 minutes to go. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat now,
Yes.
so we have time to answer it. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Next question.
Hafnunga asks, do Rio República guests have to pay an entrance fee for the Rio parties, and how far are the Rio parties from the hotel?
Short answer is no. You don't need to pay extra for it. They provide transportation on buses to the Rio complex, where the Rio party complex is located, and you don't need to pay extra. And they drive you there. It's quite messy. If the Rio República is full, the buses are up to capacity. You have to do a mega extra long line to get on the buses.
It's a long
So keep that
line.
into account, but it's free of charge.
Yeah. So next question is,
I think last question.
yeah, will you ever recommend leaving the resort to go visit a show or event like the Imagine Cape Club or Coco Bongo?
I
Yeah.
would say if you are, hello Kitty,
She
If
knows
you
the live
are,
stream is ending.
if you like going out, like partying to nightclubs, I would say yes, because nightclubs at the hotels are not like super produced shows or like, oh my God, it's so cool in here. So those outside nightclubs are a great way of like experiencing the nightlife with the locals and the other tourists from other hotels. So I would say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, last question from Fanita Hampton. How do you reject the resort timeshare presentation without being rude? I heard that you have to be stern with them We don't have 2 hours to waste on something we don't plan to buy into.
Well, I would say first of all, don't accept anything like free or like a
Yes.
free dinner or a free extra something.
Or
Ask
a
explicitly,
very low
yeah, price
price
for.
for the resort for
Ask
a presentation.
explicitly, does this come with any strings attached? Do I have to do
Yeah,
anything
even
extra?
asking, they won't tell you
Yeah,
it
but
comes
because
with
we've had
strings
like
attached.
little gifts, like a bottle of wine in our room or a room
Yeah,
upgrade or
something like
something,
that.
not attached to anything, but make sure you ask beforehand. And if they approach you, they never approach us because they know we're locals and we're not their target. But we do see a lot of people like sitting
Oh
down with
yes,
them, like
that
I don't know for how long. And I imagine I would feel the pressure because I'm that type of person. I have trouble saying no, and I totally get where you're coming from. Just as you said, be stern. Like no, I'm not interested. I'm not going to buy anything. And never sit down. They're
never.
salespeople. They know how to get you there step by step. Just don't sit down and keep walking.
Yeah,
That's it, I
or
would
I'm
say.
busy right now and avoid them. I'm busy right now and walk fast. And that's we usually sometimes when they ask they call us not to sell us timeshare, but to sell us a bottle of wine or something like that. We just cut them upfront nicely, like, oh no, we're not interested. Thank you
I
very
would ask
much.
them if they offer me like, can I pay it with credit card because my debts are so high that I don't have money right now, and they probably leave you alone. That's out of the top of my mind. But yeah, people, that was the last question. Thank you so much for
Thank you
seeing
so
the live
much.
stream, and we'll see you on the next one.